The VGRT Gaming Podcast, episode 737, recorded on November 11th, 2024.
Welcome to the 737th edition of the TD Gaming Podcast and 570th episode of Video Game Roundtable. I'm TJ Denzer.
I am Scott Dirk.
And I am Jonah Falcon.
The VGRT Gaming Podcast focuses on game news from around the industry.
Right. Scott, you have quite a bit of noise today.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, so anyways, so there's been a 2-week hiatus. Not 2 week, but we skipped last week because there wasn't really any news except for Dragon Age the Veilguard, which I have played, and now I am starting another playthrough. So we're going to talk about Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now here's the thing. I am debating whether to be completely spoilerific or not. How much of it did you complete it, TJ?
Yeah, I made it through one playthrough.
Okay, so you know what? Screw it. We're gonna spoil everything. So if you don't want to have Dragon Age Veilguard spoiled for you, tough, because we're gonna spoil a living shit out of it. So, I'm gonna start with you, TJ. What did you think of the story? Let's not talk about the gameplay or anything like that. Just the story itself.
Hammy, super hammy, and
Really?
to a point where I was distracted by it constantly. This game had the most Marvel movie vibe around the characters of any BioWare game that I've played. And I think that was always a little bit there when I really think about it. When I really think about the way that characters act in Mass Effect 2 and later Dragon Age games. But man, it's you've got this story of this elf god who unleashed other elf gods who are going to unleash hell on Earth, and everybody's quippy and joking, and I never
really
never felt the weight of the story.
I think that's generally called the Josh Whedon effect, where everybody's snarky and has a witty comment.
I don't know, because I did not get that vibe at all. So, shall we talk about the big reveal? And I'm going to tell you something. I should have seen it coming a mile away. But playing again, it's sort of oh, and it hit me. I should have recognized this. And for those of you not knowing, when you play the game, when you open the game, you and Varric go to Solus. He's opening up the tear in the sky. And then Solus first blasts Bianca out of his hands. And then they struggle with a knife, and Solus stabs him. And it seems like it's a non-fatal stab. And Varric is there, and he's commenting, and he's talking to you, and he's in the group's meetings and all that stuff. And then late in the game, you find out, no, Varric was killed outright. He was actually stabbed, and he died. And it's basically the Sixth Sense, right? And I should have recognized it because I knew the secret of the Sixth Sense 10 minutes into the movie. I don't know if it's because I was attached to the character of Varric, but him being dead the entire time. Now when I replay it, I see, oh, wait a minute. The other characters aren't talking to Varric. And a lot of the times Harding would say, we paid the price, for dealing with Solus and all that, saying, well, yeah, but now we know she's actually talking about Varric being killed. When you're confronting Solus for the first time, your character says, Varric is hurt, and this, and this is what he would have done. And Solus yells at you, Varric is, and then he stops himself, and he says, often prone to his own unreliable. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. He was about to yell back, Varric is dead. And playing it again, it should have been so obvious. Because Varric never really gets out of bed, except for when there's a and he never talks to the other characters. The characters don't notice him when you assume that they were noticing him and he was there, and the entire time it's just you dealing with a memory that Solus implanted in your brain, and it's actually you talking to yourself and trying to steal yourself because now you're the leader. Varric is not there. You're actually in command. It's not like Varric is in command, but you're the second in command. You're just doing stuff. As for being hammy, I didn't see it. I really didn't see it. I didn't see them being Joss Whedon-y, if that's how you put it.
Yeah, like it wasn't like every single character all the time, but it was enough that it was like obnoxious to me. Lucanus was like one of my favorite characters in the game.
Yeah. I romanced him as a male wizard, as a Grey Warden, by the way. My first character was a Grey Warden human mage, and he romanced Lucanus.
Yeah, I liked Lucanus because Lucanus was like one of the few characters that didn't do that regularly.
Well, here's the thing. Lace hardening? By the way, there are 2 big reveals as well. We find out where the fuck elves came from, and we find out where the fuck dwarves came from.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the other big surprise. Elves are spirits made whole. They were always spirits made whole. That's why they were immortal, because they were spirits that became physical. And dwarves are basically the lifeblood of Titans, who the elves killed and stole lyrium, which is basically their blood. Which is why, and all the hints are through. I read a article that was written like in 14, which is after, and there was a long article about speculating. I think elves may be spirits made whole, and he was right, because the hints were always there. You can tell that they were working off the Bible, a thing Bible that said elves are spirits, dwarves are things, and all that stuff. And Lace Harding, she's always chipper because she's always hiding a lot of rage. And a lot of the game is her trying to be nice because she has sort of an inferiority complex. And it's like she's always nice and chipper because she has a lot of rage in her. And when she finally gets rid of that rage, she talks a lot more normally now. A lot is made of Tosh being non-binary. A lot of people are upset about that. I'm not, but I found it interesting.
No, that was fine. Like, I don't think that the whole story is trash or anything like that. I think there are some very compelling elements of it. I just wish the vibe of the characters that I felt wasn't clashing with the direness of the stakes that you have in this adventure, because, like, it is a cool setup. It is a very cool setup. I like it.
Well, let me ask you a question. Wait. Let me ask you a question. When you had the decision between one dragon and the other dragon, where did you go? Did you go to where the crows were, or where you went to Nev's people are, the shadow dragons?
Crows. I always like the crows more.
Okay, no, here's the thing. Because if you one or the other, we always had this complaint that a lot of the choices that you make in these games don't really have a choice. This one had a real choice, because whichever one you didn't go to, the character associated with it leaves you for a bit, and they come back and they're hardened. So yeah. Nev was. Here's the thing: if you're a shadow dragon and you don't go to Minrathous, Nev really lets you have it. She really lets you have it. But if you're not, she's not as okay. But it's sort of like it isn't a total betrayal, And I'm wondering if you like the way Lucanus is. I have not seen in which I don't go to Treviso and I go to Minrathous instead, because I hate to see what he's like when he's hardened.
Yeah, I didn't find out either because.
Here's the thing. I didn't go. I went to Treviso because I felt the Minrathous is full of mages. Aren't they going to help? And apparently no.
Yeah, and like the world that BioWare built for this game, the places you get to go to, this is like the prettiest BioWare game by far.
Well, we're in the north. We're not in the south, which is a dunghill, apparently. Except for Orlando.
Just like the places that you go to in this game, the locales that you see, and like the set pieces, when you're in that first, even in that first,
when you're in Rathus, but you're not in the lower docks, you're actually where you have the big floating fortress, and you have
that giant like ring of and castle and rock that's like floating above you as like a sentry beacon while you're trying to help Nev is really neat. The underwater prison that you go to break Lucanus out of, cool as hell. I love the environments in this game. They're very fun.
Yeah. I just don't like some of the environmental puzzles. They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean, I do them. Here's the thing. Maybe it's because I am really, really, really into Dragon Age lore. So the amount of lore, here's the one thing that really, really bothers me, and that is the fact you only have 3 choices. It doesn't import the save file. So either you use the default Inquisitor or you create an Inquisitor, and all that really matters is what they look like, who they romanced, and whether they want to help Solus or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that really, because what it meant was that anybody who could not be killed in Dragon Age Inquisition showed up. So you do have Dorian showing up. You have Isabella is one of the faction leaders, but you'll never see Zevran. Remember, Zevran was abused by a Crow family. He was prostituted as a child. I wanted to see what Zevran thought of all this shit.
Right. Yeah, I agree. There are some lost opportunities there. But I did like it when I guess we're going full spoiler on this.
Here's the thing. Wait, let me interrupt you. You know who I really wanted to see? I wanted to see fucking Loghain as the leader of the Grey Wardens. Because the leader that's there is a hard ass. If you don't punch him, he actually becomes extremely heroic. But I would have loved to see Loghain do that badass declaration of the Wardens and just, and at the end he sacrifices himself to try and kill the archdemon.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Loghain in there.
I'm always happy to see Morgan make another appearance.
What's funny is the actress thought she wasn't going to be in it. She got her script very late. She was surprised as anybody else. Oh, Morgan's here.
They made her cool as hell in this game. I love her.
Yeah. Here's the thing. She is a lot more mature. If you play Dragon Age Origins, she's a petulant little child in that game.
Yeah.
And as it goes along, she starts getting more and more wisdom. As a matter of fact, she admits that she was talking about elven history to Solus as if she knew more than him, and she was embarrassed. Oh wait, I was mansplaining elven history to Fenharel. Yeah.
And then combat in this game, I wasn't a fan. What'd you think of it?
I liked it. I didn't use a controller either. I used keyboard and mouse because I played on. But I could see there was two big inspirations for the combat in this. Bayonetta and Batman Arkham style. Bayonetta and Batman Arkham. Because you can actually get witch time in this if you have the right build.
Yeah.
But here's the other. What I did not like, and this is with every single BioWare game, has to stop this. Dudes, it's not a more exciting fight if you give a boss a fucking metric crap ton of hit points. It's boring.
Yeah.
It is hella boring to do these long ass fights.
Let me tell you a story. Jonah, you gotta let me tell this whole story because it's
go ahead.
When I was reviewing this game, there was a boss that I came across. I forget which one it was. It was one of the demon elementals that get summoned up.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about the one in which they make all the room dark? It's like the Demon of Despair, I believe it is.
No, it's that dude that's like a rich kid that Nev goes after, and he summons a demon.
Yeah, I killed him. I was able to take him out immediately.
And during that boss fight, the combat in that game, as far as I'm concerned, is just you press square, 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 triangle, square, 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 triangle. Whip out your ability, whip out your friend's ability to combo with your ability, Then you wait for the cooldown, square, 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 triangle, square, 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 triangle. I had that so ingrained in me that I fell asleep during a boss battle in the middle of the boss battle and completed the boss battle with a victory and like woke up by the end of it like, oh, okay, it's over.
After the first dragon fight you have, you're not supposed to win.
Right.
But I was so bored and I kept on dying because, it was just to keep it along. I said, fuck it. I went into storyteller mode and the game just became amazing for me. Because my mage was majoring in Frost and he was all kitted out in Frost. So what he would do, he would run in and doing forward and attack. So you do a heavy attack while you're running. He would do a flip. Ice would shatter everybody. He would do his first hit would be 3,000 to 6,000 points of damage. You just wipe them. And I know if I played on normal difficulty, it would still be an instant kill. So I guess I picked the one build in which you can just wreck people's shit.
I went with lightning-based magic on the mage.
Wow, that sucks.
So I had Chain Lightning and Tempest. I enjoyed those abilities just because putting shock on an enemy and then stacking damage on top of that was pretty fun for me as far as like the skills go. I wish the companions were more in this game.
So, the companions. So here's the thing: companions are useless until, say, you don't have any mana or you don't have any action points or whatever it is, and you can have them combo the boss and whittle it down a lot so you can finish it off. That's the main thing. And also, for a lot of people, they're complaining, why do the enemies always attack me? Well, guess what? Three of the fighters have the ability to taunt, and they can take them off you.
Yeah. It just bugs me because, like, I've never felt less agency over companions in a BioWare game. I feel like they were less in combat specifically. I felt like there were less characters in combat and more extensions of the hotbar. Just more stuff to be used.
But then again, you know what? Combat's never really been great in Mass Effect anyway. I mean, you can argue Mass Effect 3, I mean, maybe.
But even in the Mass Effect games, you can like direct your companions to move to cover or be aggressive or be defensive or use their abilities. And like they actually get kills for themselves when you're not paying attention.
Oh, they got kills for me because one of the best things about this game is that whenever a character makes a kill, sometimes a companion will say, way to go! It's like, way to go, Tosh! Way to go, Nev! And if you do, way to go, Rook! So you know who got the kill because they congratulate them on it.
Right. I just never had that happen outside of me commanding them to use an ability that got them the kill.
The other thing is that this also you can tell that this was started at around the same time that Mass Effect 3 was released, because now you had the Dragon Age equivalent of galactic readiness. And one of the things that people really complained about is that if you chose Treviso instead of Minrathous, you lost the Minrathous merchant who you can sell stuff to. If you choose Minrathous, the Treviso seller is still there. I mean, there's a lot of merchants, but there's only one per that you can sell stuff to. And when you sell stuff to that merchant, it increases their loyalty to you.
Yeah.
So if you choose Treviso, you really have to work hard to get just make sure you have 2 stars on Minrathous and you'll be fine. You just have to have 2 stars on everybody and do everybody's loyalty quests. We've played Mass Effect. We get the idea of having to do loyalty quests to make sure they don't die. One person will always die, which is sad. In my first playthrough was Lace. Harding was the one who was killed. And I found out there'll always be one person dead, but it doesn't have to be the same person. Who died with you?
Wait, this was on the choice.
No, this is what happens in the Elite game. One of your characters will die.
Oh, I gave up Harding. I don't care about Harding.
Oh, okay. Oh, I liked Harding. Tosh was heartbroken because she was romancing. If you don't romance Harding, Tosh does. Yeah. I also, I think it's what's it called? I got Nev was the one who got blighted. But the thing is, what's interesting is the end of the game, all the blight is removed. And it may not be removed forever, but for that world, everything becomes unblighted and cured of the blight. It was interesting. I loved. Okay, there. Obviously, everybody loves two characters, or at least I do. Everybody loves Manfred, and everybody loves Asan. The that's the little skeleton is Manfred. You know, that's. And in my playthrough, what happens is you get a choice. Oh God, I forgot his name. I'm romancing him too this time around because everybody likes that character. The necromancer. So the necromancer wants to become a lick. In the game's thing, licks are not evil. They're just people who are immortal. However, the caveat is that if you become a lick, you cannot resurrect anybody because they consider it a conflict of interest, and that way goes to tyranny. So he has a choice. Save Manfred, resurrect him, or let him stay dead and become a lick. And I'm pretty sure 99.9999% of the people chose save Manfred because he comes back with magic power and he starts talking. That was the biggest surprise. I thought he was just going to do that during the entire game, but no, he starts actually talking in single words. Not like that, no.
Yeah.
And
So,
son, yeah.
By the way, Emmerich is the necromancer.
Emmerich, yeah. I have to say, I liked all of their loyalty quests. None of them were duds.
I agree with that. There was a couple characters that I just never did it with because I didn't want to, but
I did it with all of them. I wanted to make sure see, here's the thing. Mass Effect 2, everybody survived on my first playthrough.
You know what? One of my problems was
time.
I should not have played.
I'm going to tell you this. In 72 hours, I played 40 hours of it.
I should not have played this game right alongside Metaphor Fantasio. Metaphor Fantasio is very, very, very much more my kind of game. And having it off on the sideline while I was playing this made me want to go back to it more. That story where I was talking about, I fell asleep during the boss battle, I turned off the game and went over to Metaphor, and it perked me up like a cup of coffee. And I don't know. I understand that there's a lot of people that love this game, and I don't think that they're wrong to love this game. It's a very beautiful game that gets a lot of cool things right.
Well, here's reason why a lot of people might love it is that it is very respectful for the most part to the lore and the continuity, and you get a lot of answers answered. So even if it was just a visual novel, I think people would have loved it.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for payoff that people get from being on a timeline this long, because these are still timelines that are continuing from Dragon Age Origins. So I'm happy to see people get that payoff.
What's interesting is that it ties up so many loose ends and answers so many questions, and yet I can see where another game would be able to build on them. I'll tell you, I was kind of pissed off because I forgot to create my own Inquisitor. So when you do that, they give you the default Inquisitor, which is a female elf who romanced Solus. So, and I didn't want to start over and all that stuff, so I just kept playing. And the payoff was beautiful. It was so touching, the ending, which I chose. Before that, though, another part of the game which I absolutely loved is when you talk to Mythal, who is the elven god who was killed by Solus at the end of Inquisition. And you find out what was going on there. And you being able to convince her to join you felt so right. And then she helps you as a dragon once before that. And then at the end, when everybody confronts Solus, it is such a moment. There's a few ways to deal with it. A lot of people like tricking Solus, in which they replace the dagger with a fake dagger. So he thinks he's won, but oops, he's trapped himself in the Fade forever. But the ending that I went with was he voluntarily goes into the Fade, and the Inquisitor from the previous game, who's in love with him, forgives him and goes with him. It's sort of like a you remember Witch Hunt in the first game, the DLC, in which if you romanced Morgan, you could actually go with her into the Illuvian.
Yeah.
But I love that ending, the ending that I had. Which is why I'm playing it again and doing slightly different choices, this time with my Inquisitor.
Nice. I'm glad you're having fun with it. Like, it seems like a lot of people have been having a good time. And I wish it had hit me better, but like, I guess it's just not my game.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if I'd get as much out of Metaphor or Fantasia as you're getting.
Right.
And also, that game, from what I understand, is at least 100 hours.
Yes.
So it's a significant time investment.
It's a season of chunky RPGs.
Yeah. I also played Star Wars Outlaw.
Yeah.
And I like the writing, and I like the dialogue, but I quit because I could not stand the gameplay because it isn't anything wrong with it. I was as bored with it as you were, apparently, with the Veilguard, and also they don't know how to construct interiors for shit. When I'm trying to find a place and even using the map and even use the map indicator, I felt sluggish, you know? And it's one of those games in which I said, you know, I'll come back to it. Maybe I'll like it better. So the last thing I want to bring up right now is Planet Coaster 2 came out. And if you go to Steam, it's got mixed reviews. And I looked at it, and yeah, the negative reviews have a lot of points. And in short, it feels like half a game was released. There's not enough content. Everything is in DLC, separate DLC. And it feels unfinished. And it's really sad to see because the City Skylines 2 feeling unfinished for a lot of people, and this game feeling unfinished for a lot of people. I don't know what it is. I mean, remember, Paradox Interactive also canceled that Sims clone. So something is going on in which people are starting things and not able to finish it these days. I don't know what's going on. Oh, did you see the new Indiana Jones trailer?
I haven't. Is it good?
Oh, yeah. Troy Baker does a spot-on imitation of Indiana Jones. It's like...
He's sounded great since the very first showing of him, and I really like the vibe that he's brought to that character.
In addition, a lot of people are going to be annoyed that it's first person. I'm not, but I know a lot of people who prefer Tomb Raider / Uncharted, and they want the third dimensional one. I like the one dimension, but there's one little thing that I really like, and that is when you're doing your archaeology, you're picking up stuff as as historical, and everything has a description in a very archaeological tone. This cup was I think that's one part I'm going to really like is the flavor text for everything that you're picking up. The acting is top notch, but what do you expect? And it's by Machine Games, so it looks like a winner. We'll see.
Nice.
Because with the releases we've had, I can't trust anything anymore.
Yeah. I'm ready for more Machine Games, though. This looks very every little bit of the vibe that they've got going on is very Indiana Jones, but it is also very Machine Games. Like the stuff that you would see while just walking through the levels where you weren't immediately in combat in Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, was just as important, I think, as any other part of that.
They're very good at world building. Yes.
Yeah.
So the entire circle of the Great Circle is just an excuse to have all these locations all over the world.
And like the moment we saw that thing where the guy was like, "Oh, you Americans with your trains, choo choo!" Like that was the moment where I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be like another Wolfenstein game."
They showed a lot more of the villain, and they had him. What's it called? No, he was a lot more serious. He was a lot. The only time we really saw him was him being headbutted by Indy being buried. But you have a scene in which he's just talking German with this other archaeologist who's warning him and all that stuff. And it's in subtitles, but they're talking. It just feels natural. It feels very, very natural. So, DJ, what have you been playing?
Mostly just Metaphor Fantasio. It's a big game, and I've got a lot to get through. So
okay,
that's the big thing. I've still been playing Balatro. I have
on your cell phone.
Yeah, on my cell phone. I've you know what's a power play? They just put out the Nintendo Music app, which lets you just play music from Nintendo games if you have an online subscription.
Oh.
So
I remember when you could rip your music onto the hard drive of your Xbox or something like that, and have that music playing while you're playing a game.
Yeah,
and that's actually have it on a radio in Grand Theft Auto.
And that's actually what I was about to get to, is that you can download the Nintendo Music app and then play it in the background over other apps. So I turned on Balatro, put on the Animal Crossing soundtrack, and just kind of let that rip in the background while I was playing.
I'd rather just have ELO or some of my own music.
It was really relaxing. I don't know. It was just kind of chill. Baltro's music is already kind of vibey and trancey anyways, but I don't know. Having KK Slider songs while I'm playing that game is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then I've been playing Deadlock still. They recently opened up ranked queues in the game, so I've been throwing down as some of my favorite characters to see if I can climb the ladders.
You know that they just showed the roadmap for Black Ops 6. And even the most negative people were just jaw-dropped at what they were planning on bringing in. It's like... So... Scott, what have you been playing? Okay. Well, another game that's coming out very soon is Dragon Quest III HD 3D remaster.
Oh, yeah, I'll be getting that very soon.
Right. What have you been playing, Scott?
Sorry, I'm still playing the Beyond Galaxyland, the sci-fi turn-based game.
Yeah.
That has platforming elements and all that. I think I discussed that before, but it's really nice because it has this just nice sci-fi story, and you have these platforming elements that isn't really typical to turn-based games. So that's it's just a fun change.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of things that came out. You know what was stealth released? And that is Death Stranding on the Xbox. Which is funny because I already earned achievements on Death Stranding from the PC version, which was on PC Game Pass. But apparently Hideo Kojima now owns the IP. He owns all of it, so now he released it on Xbox, which means that Death Stranding 2 will eventually be on Xbox, just with whatever till limited time exclusivity deal that he has with. And here's the thing: they released the Death Stranding Director's Cut on Xbox and made it half price on launch. So you have all the DLC and it's $15, the entire kit and caboodle. If you look at the review page for it, it's like there's so many ecstatic people who said, "Yeah, I saw it immediately, day one. Oh, I played it on PlayStation 4. I don't care. I wanted to play it on Xbox too." So I still am not a fan of the game. I guess I should give it a chance again. But I just hate the first thing, I hate the story. I mean, it's Hideo Kojima thinks you spend 50 minutes just watching a video, just like, when do I get to play? So yeah, have you played Death Stranding?
Yeah, I've played plenty of Death Stranding.
Okay.
I agree. It's not the best game in the world. It's a very weird game. It's a very odd game. It's like I have to be in the mood for that game.
Here's the thing: if they had just left it in which it's a carrying simulator in which you have to balance yourself as you go over rough terrain, that would have been a perfect game. I mean, just that one gameplay mechanic, and it would have been great. Just having all this trouble, maintaining your balance as you're walking over really bad, tilted land and all that stuff. That would have been awesome. That black goose stuff that comes out, it's boring. It's like they thought people would get too bored. It's like a turret level, in any game, which they stop everything just so you can do a turret like you're getting bored or whatever's going on.
And one of the paths you have to go through to travel through the world always goes through like one of those, an area infested with the goo.
Yeah.
So like it is very, very, very hell bent on directing you towards some of the worst parts of that game. I agree. I don't like.
The only way I can entertain myself is just like deal with a batshit crazy story. That is just. Oh,
I like that part. I like the batshit crazy.
Oh, by the way, his mom is the president of the United States and she's dying. What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That's the way it goes.
What? Everybody's related to everybody else. This is a Star Wars movie.
Also, he's like a phobia. He's a phobia of contact with anyone, but for some reason, he's supposed to be the guy that brings everybody together.
It's saying something when you're carrying around a fetus as your power is the least weird thing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
When that's the least weird thing in the game, you have a weird game.
See, yeah, and like I hope they kind of lean less into the combat in the second one and lean more into the crazy ass weird story. Because
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a crazy ass weird story.
That's the parts I had the most fun with.
It's sort of like
to travel.
It's sort of like he got bored of wacko conspiracy theory stuff and Metal Gear and decided, you know what? I want to just do the wackiest fake conspiracy stuff I can think of with no restraints. And he came up with Death Stranding.
Yeah. It's going to be weird if in like 20 years we all have everything connected by a cloud-based thing that just is supposed to keep us in communication and then something terrible happens and breaks all that apart. That would be awful.
I just got into Blue Sky and it's like Twitter, except it has moderation.
True that.
And the thing is that it's like I just, at some point I just had to get out. And
yeah.
I still left my my Twitter open. I did not cancel my Twitter account. I'm just not posting to it. I just have you can find me on Blue Sky here.
Twitter has no value anymore for people that want to carry out a meaningful conversation. It's specifically rage bait, specifically people who profit off of rage bait. And
what's funny is that I saw you can create these lists, on Blue Sky, and one of them said avoid these people because they claim they're going to come to Blue Sky and quote unquote own the libs. So, and you can block there and properly block. So I decided to go to, actually look at what they're saying. And what I saw was post hidden because of intolerance, post hidden because of rude. And it's like, oh, thank you. And they can't say free speech because guess what? You can click show if you want to, but no one's going to want to click show. So it's sort of like they're neutered from the start. And the thing is that, here's the thing. The discovery algorithm is really, you have to be careful with that. Because if you like two things that you may not like, it's going to shove them in your face for a while. Wrestling. I did not want to like people doing wrestling. But now it's like wrestle. It's like I saw someone who I liked something and they mentioned Stardew Valley, and all of a sudden it's like for the next 2 days it was like every 10th post was about Stardew Valley. So it has an algorithm that's a little bit hype, but I like that. I mean, eventually it'll sort you out. A lot of people said when they first joined Blue Sky, they just get a lot of posts about cats, cat pictures, which is fine. But yeah, I don't go to following. I usually stay on the Discovery tab. And by the way, when you refresh, when you're on the Discovery tab, it shows new things. So it isn't always the same thing on the Discovery tab. If you don't like what you see on the Discovery tab, refresh and it's new stuff. And for those who are wondering, it looks exactly like Twitter. It looks the same text, same everything. Instead of a blue bird, they have a blue butterfly. So, yeah, I'm still on Instagram. I'm still on Threads, which is, I don't know, Threads is a bit half-assed. That's the only problem with Threads. But it seems like people are learning their lesson too late when it comes to social media. Last I saw, I believe, like 2 days ago, it was announced that Blue Sky had 14 million people, and it was going up and up and up. So, and people were saying this is the same vibe we had when we first joined Twitter, you know, except now they have a lot more aggressive moderation. So, one or two titty bots still got through, though. I had to block them. For those who don't know, titty bots are just these accounts with scantily dressed, beautiful women who like your stuff, never post anything, and usually have a link to whatever OnlyFans they have or something like that. I've only seen one. They were blocked. You can always tell because they have no followers. I mean, they have no followers, but they follow a lot of people. Anyways, we're gonna get out of that. Scott, did you see the new Dragon Quest 3 trailer?
Oh yes, yeah. How they have the Beastmaster thing, and they added more story content, and there's just a lot.
You know the controversy going on in Japan.
Which one?
They're pissed off that the Gadabout and the Warrior woman have more clothes on.
Yeah, like 1% more clothing. Ooh.
No, I mean the Gadabout.
Actually, I think they took off the bow tie for the Gadabout.
Here's the thing: the Gadabout is a fucking Playboy bunny.
Yeah, exactly.
And in other JRPGs, one of the jobs you can have as a Gadabout is prostitute. It's not going to be in Dragon Quest 3, but that's what it is. It's a hooker. You're controlling a hooker, and people are pissed off that she has more clothes on. You know, if you want to watch your harem anime, go right ahead. Get your anime titties on. You know, it doesn't have to be in the game. You don't have to masturbate while playing. Anyways.
Yeah, people are making much ado about nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played any of the Dragon Quest games except for Dragon Quest 9 and Dragon Quest... Did 10 come out? Yeah, it did. Yeah, 10 came out. That was the one that was in 3D. I played the one 9, I believe, was on the 3DS. I played the one that was on the 3DS, which I think was 9, and I played a bit of 10. So, yeah. Anyways.
The MMO.
Yeah, so... Moving on to the notes. They released the system specs for Stalker 2, and it's going to require 150 gigabytes of SSD, solid-state drives. And my first thought was, in 5 years, people are going to say, it only needs 150 gigabytes? That's gonna, for a lot of people right now, it's a lot of hard drives, solid-state drive space. But on the other hand, you know, I've seen the 4 terabyte MME sticks cost like $150, and a gigabyte and a terabyte is like $99 now. So those prices are coming real down fast.
Yeah, still, that's like Call of Duty sized files. What are you doing there, Stalker? Calm down.
It's supposed to come out in February, but you know, for me, it's sort of like, I don't know. It seems like February is still a fluid release date for it, because that is an ambitious game.
Yeah, it's also like they have so much going. They have a lot going on.
Yeah,
I truly hope they make it to the release date, for as much as they've been working on this game, for as long as they've been working on this game, and for how much hellish chaos has been going on in their backyard.
They claim that they've. Well, I think they moved. They're not in. They're not in Ukraine anymore, though.
Right. I think they moved over to Poland.
Something like that.
But yeah. So best of luck to them. I can only imagine how hard it's been to get to this point.
You know what's coming out? In 2 weeks, it's like, oh my god, Flight Simulator is coming out.
It is. We still have some final games left in the very end of this year. That's like, man, we still have big things to get through.
Out?
Yeah, Indiana Jones is coming out this month too.
I'm looking forward to Night Dives. The Thing is coming out, and the Thing.
It's a remastered version of it. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. I love the original a lot. It's one of my favorite weird horror games.
Yeah, Dragon Quest is coming out Friday, I think.
Mm-hmm. And that's the Dragon Quest 3 HD remake.
Yeah, and Flight Simulator is coming on the 19th, which is next week. So, what the fuck? Oh, Star Wars Outlaws is coming out on Steam in November 21st.
Yeah.
I forgot to notice that it was not released on Steam. It was an Epic game. Oh no, maybe it wasn't even. Yeah, it was on Epic. Or was it on Epic?
I think it was
Microsoft's
game store.
Not sure. Genshin Impact is coming out on Xbox on the 20th, so. Yeah. People have been telling that Slitterhead is pretty good.
Let's see how it's looking on Steam right now.
That was at the Microsoft showcase, if I remember correctly.
Ah, very positive. Look at that.
So, more news. The makers of Black Mesa have started a new game and has nothing to do with Half-Life. It's called Rogue Point, which is going to be a co-op tactical shooter that's run by corporations, otherwise known as Plot Number 33 Variation B. It's not an original concept. I mean, Haze was basically that. But, I mean, if they want to do, I don't know.
I feel like the Black Mesa guys have earned the props to be able to kind of have a little bit of benefit of the doubt, because it feels like Black Mesa was a big undertaking, and they did a pretty decent job with it.
Yeah, it was like, but it took, you know what? They had finished the game except for Zen, and it was Zen that took them a couple of years. It was like the rest of the game was a piece of cake, but how to make Zen fun, that was the poser.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them. And I can understand why they want to get away from doing Half-Life, because it's sort of like you don't want to be known as the Half-Life people. Unless you actually make Hunt Down the Freeman.
Yeah.
Stellar Blade is coming out with the Nier Automata DLC. Do you know anything about this, DJ?
I know that Yoko Taro is absolutely shameless when it comes to putting Nier in anything and everything that people ask him to do with it. And I can't help but respect the grind.
I was wondering, because you're a big Nier Automata fan, so
I do like that game. It's got one of my favorite soundtracks in a game that I've heard in the last
years. Over and over and over again.
Yoko Taro has at this point put Nier into this game. He's put it into Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, where we got 2B, and then she was in Soul Calibur 6. So 2B's been getting around as far as cameos in other games that are vaguely sci-fi or just have cool swords in them.
Yeah.
I think it's silly. I also think it's neat and good for him.
Yeah. Another shadow drop. The Spyro Reignited Trilogy is hitting Game Pass tomorrow, and the one people are wondering, why didn't they release it earlier? Well, apparently, you know what? They made it 60 frames per second. So
spicy. So that's actually a little bit better.
I wonder if they're going to have a free upgrade for everybody who purchased it on other platforms. Probably will.
Maybe so.
It would be kind of petty for them not to do that, and they can still make money since it's still on the stores in Sony and Nintendo. So if they'll start advertising, hey, play it now in 60 frames with the PS5 Pro that you didn't buy. Has it come out? The PlayStation Pro 5? PlayStation 5 Pro?
If it hasn't, it's right around the corner.
There was an item earlier in which whoever the new boss of Sony has said, well, we only made the PlayStation 5 Pro for the hardcore members of our, I said, yeah, okay. You're really making it a loss leader, aren't you? Because the hardcore people are going to know it's not worth it.
Its official release date is said to be November 21st.
It's hard to know about these because sometimes things that seem like they're going to be a complete waste of money, people buy anyway.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The 30th anniversary one comes out on 21st.
Oh.
The regular PS5 Pro is out now. It was out on November 7th.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see the sales figures on that thing because if they think they're going to be able to play Grand Theft Auto 6 at 60 frames per second on it, nope, it's not going to happen. Because they increased the graphic driver but not the CPU, which is kind of pointless.
Yeah.
People have to understand, you can have the biggest pipe you want, but if there's not enough water to fill it. So, but here's my dirty little secret. I never played Spyro. I never even played Spyro, the Toys to Life game either.
It's very collectathon, but it's also really charming.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're going to move on to game news. Take it away, TJ. And this is one news that's broken that we need. That there were a lot of questions that were answered.
Yep. Palworld developer reports Nintendo's suing over 3 Pokemon patents for only $66,000 in damages. I will add a piece. Today, Palworld developer Pocket Pair published a report detailing the terms of the intellectual property lawsuit Nintendo filed against the studio in September. When Nintendo announced the lawsuit, it alleged that Palworld infringes on multiple patent rights, but didn't specify which patents were claimed, leaving us to speculate about whether Nintendo was bringing its legal cannons to bear over third-person Pokeball. Thanks to Pocket Pair's report, we now have confirmation about the patents forming the basis of Nintendo's infringement allegations. Nintendo's lawsuit claims that Palworld infringes on 3 Japanese patents, a trio granting Nintendo protections on creature catching and riding mechanics. Pocket Pair's reports detailed the application and registration dates of the patents in question. All 3 of which were filed and granted to Nintendo in the months following Palworld's release on January 2024. However, each filing asserted each filing asserted in the lawsuit is a continuation of a series of patents that Nintendo had originally filed in 2021 during the development of Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Okay, we're going to stop there for a moment because this is what we call patent trolling.
Yep.
This is utter, complete bullshit. Someone was reminded of when Apple tried to sue people because they decided to have curved edges for their cell phones as well.
Yep, and Bandai Namco got away with it for years with loading screen minigames.
Yeah, and you know what? Square Enix could just say, hey, we did it too, so why didn't you sue us? Some people are speculating that Nintendo's suing because Sony's gotten involved with the game.
Huh. That would be an interesting
they're just trying to drag the devs to court and make them spend court fees and waste more money.
No, here's the thing. Pocket Pal only needs to show that other people did it, and this is way too broad to be a patent, which is probably what's going to happen.
Because there are plenty of games that have capture mechanics that
remember the patent troll who tried to lay claim to the word edge for video games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People were forced to change the name until Mirror's Edge, and then EA's lawyers stood up to them and said, no.
Like the Fine Brothers tried to copyright reaction videos.
And scrolls. That was the other. That was the other word. And Bethesda said, "Well, we have lawyers too."
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that Pocket Pair may actually have a point that these particular lawsuits are way too broad because there's a lot of games that use capture mechanics, and you're saying that every single one of those games was under threat for a Nintendo lawsuit because they have a patent on throwing a ball to capture a creature?
Yeah, and here's the thing. We're going to skip the rest of the article. We're just going to summarize it right now. The money is not the problem. The problem is that it would, if they accepted the lawsuit, they would have to pay that, and then they'd have an injunction until they change the mechanics, but how do you change the mechanics of a game that where it's fundamental? You can't. That's like saying, well, we own Donkey Kong, so you're not allowed to jump.
Yeah. Or like saying we own the idea of loading screen minigames, so you're not allowed to put them in anything.
Oh, like, God. And that's the thing. That's the one thing I'm really salty about, is that Monolith was able to patent the entire Nemesis system.
Yeah.
That I'm salty about. And fortunately, apparently that is going to go by the wayside after they release Wonder Woman. And by the way, Wonder Woman with the Nemesis system, I am all in for that. I want to see how that is implemented.
Yeah. This is patent law is just so weird. And Nintendo has been playing this game for so many years at this point. They know what they're doing. They're not going in there empty-handed. But they're doing the wrong thing. Like, it's not right to just bully the shit out of other smaller companies who,
and here's the thing,
come up with a similar idea to what you've got going on.
Here's the thing, both Microsoft and Sony are invested in this game because Microsoft has it in early access on Game Pass, right? And it generated a lot of buzz, and Microsoft likes that buzz. Sony also noticed the buzz, and it was sold in early access on PlayStation. So they're getting their cut of money. And if Nintendo wants to do this, Microsoft and Sony are probably behind Pocket Parent saying, don't worry, we got this. We got this.
Pocket Pair's biggest opportunity at this point is to prove that it had these ideas in the works before Nintendo patented them, which Nintendo had these patents in place by 2021. So Pocket Pair has to show that it had some sort of concept in place that is similar to this before 2021.
Well, they have to obliterate it.
If they do that, then they could invalidate Nintendo's patents, and they could.
Well, it's not only that. They can obliterate Nintendo's thing by not only squashing those patents flat, but also showing, hey, and even if they were, guess what? We already had this idea before they did it. So. Mm-hmm.
So now it's on Pocket Pair. It'll be interesting to see if they have that kind of evidence. If not, they might be in bad shape for this one. We'll see what happens. I'm really interested to see if they have that kind of evidence on their hands.
I have a feeling that Pocket Pair is going to be fine. They're going to be fine. The game is going to be fine. I mean, the only thing that worries me about Palworld is that it may be a meme game that's only popular for like a year and then it just drops off the face of the earth.
You wouldn't know that from Tokyo Game Show. It had a massive booth, and there were a lot of people hanging out by it for most of the show.
If it has a massive booth, it sounds like they're pretty confident that this is a non-issue for them.
Yeah, that's what my vibe was too. Like, you wouldn't have been able to tell that they were going through a lawsuit from Nintendo from looking at them at Tokyo Game Show.
And Nintendo has to realize there's something called the trust thermocline. Have you ever heard of the trust thermocline?
I have not.
Okay, so you know what the thermocline is, right? It's when you're in the water and you're going into the ocean. What happens is you go. It gets cooler and cooler and cooler, and then you hit a point in which it becomes freezing. And the depth of the thing, the continental shelf is there, and you just go straight down, right? So it's sort of like this, cold, ah! So the trust thermocline is when you go over that thing, but you don't know that you're in trouble until something happens, and then you find you lose customers and you can never get them back. Twitter is experiencing that right now. It's mostly in service industries. Like Disney is dealing with the trust thermocline right now. A lot of people are saying they're making their parks, the rich can afford them, which is true actually now. And they're abandoning, these families who could barely afford to go there. And now Universal is eating their lunch. So the main point is that when you cross the trust thermocline, if you lose customers, you're not going to get them back. No matter, even if you drop the prices, even if you try and you're not going to get them back. And Nintendo better hope that there's not another family-friendly console that does bright and cheerful graphics with easy-to-use controllers, because the one thing that Nintendo has over Xbox and PlayStation and Sega and and Atari and all that stuff is that they have a niche type of video game.
Atari came out with a new console with new games. Actually,
it's not Atari. It's some people who bought the Atari name and just shoved out a new console. No, actually, that Atari console and the Intellivision console that came out are NFT miners. They were intended to do NFTs. If you Google them, it's almost embarrassing. Now they came out. Don't confuse those with the mini consoles. Those mini consoles like the Atari joystick. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the new Atari console and the new Intellivision console. Yeah, they're frauds, basically. They're frauds. But you also have the mini consoles like that Atari joystick that contains 50 games on the Atari. Not the same thing, right? So, yeah. Here's the thing. I played Palworld, and what I saw was okay. It's not my cup of tea. I think most people are just in it because you can arm your Pokemon with guns, or you can put them into slave labor. Some really dark shit. Have either of you played Palworld?
No, I had no interest in it.
Yeah,
okay. It actually plays like Ark Survival Evolved.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah, you do some base building and like all that, and raising up your tech and stuff like that.
And the Pokemon are your dinosaurs, basically. Yeah.
Right.
But hey, it's a good concept. Hey, why didn't Nintendo sue Ooblets?
Or Cassette Beasts, or Dragon Quest Monsters.
Dragon Quest Monsters were really early. As a matter of fact, when I got bored of Pokemon, I popped in Dragon Quest Monsters 2, and it was a lot more involved in Pokemon. It went deep into the breeding. Like you get a male, you get a female, different types, blah, blah, blah. All of this going on in it. It's also where I discovered Enix's favorite thing were the slimes.
Mm-hmm.
Those little droplets. That's where they originated from. So yeah.
Monster Hunter Stories also has capture mechanics.
Yeah.
Like there's so many games. There are so many games that do that.
Do they have capture and writing? Yes. Hey, you know what other game has all this shit? World of Warcraft. I'd love to see him try and sue Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard. Try it, Nintendo. Go ahead and try and sue Microsoft over World of Warcraft and their pet mechanics. Because guess what? You ride those pets. You can throw balls over those pets. You have poke battles with those pets. I triple dare them to sue Activision Blizzard, aka Microsoft, on World of Warcraft doing it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you just try and bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
So anyways, the other news item was about Death Stranding launching on Xbox. We already did that. So, yeah, let me look at any last-second news that I might have missed. Because there's always something that's popping up when we're doing our podcast. That's fodder for information right now. Oh, yeah. Have either of you played the new Mario and Luigi game?
I have not, but I've seen it. It does look like fun.
Yeah. No, nothing new. But I will urge you to watch the new Indiana Jones and the Great Circle deep dive. Because it makes me feel better about the game. The funny part is that I also think there's going to be some people who are kind of annoyed that it's in first person. Like I said. I'm not, but I know a lot of people say, I don't want first person. I want it in 3D. I want it in third person. At some point, you just know in 6 months they're going to have a third person mode. You really, really, really want it. I don't know how people do either of you play Elder Scrolls in third person?
No, I think I played it in first person.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people prefer to play that in third person, but I hate it in third person. I always play in first person. Anyways, Look for our show notes at gamingpodcast.net, along with the industry news and our gaming history articles. You enjoy your feedback, so leave us comments on our blog at gamingpodcast.net. Also, hit us up at facebook.com/gamingpodcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us on iTunes comments. And also Podbean and also YouTube. Anyway, we will see you next week.
Happy gaming, everyone.
Have fun, be cool, play games, y'all.
You notice I didn't include our social media contacts. We're not doing that. We're not. Until both of you are on Blue Sky.
Oh, I'm on Blue Sky.
You are on Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you can find me. I'm Jonah Falcon there.
Okay.
But yeah, you got to get in on there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll find it a nice, pleasant surprise, especially since you can tell it's moderated. No Russian bots, no alt-right. Just people having it. The vibe there is a lot of people having. Right, Scott would know. Scott, what is the vibe you get there? It's like people just having fun and enjoying chatting with each other.
Yeah, just having little conversations and posting whatever they feel like. It's very, it's very low key compared to what was going on with Twitter.
Yeah. Well, it's not low key because there's a lot of political talk. But here's the best part: you don't have to have the political talk.
I guess that's what I mean.
Occasionally suggest that. No, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm guessing you got the ones in which people just list off the games they love.
Yeah,
because that's what I got first. Is that people just
indie devs.
No, I'm saying there's usually when you log on for the first time, one of the things you'll have is, hey, these are my favorite games. What are yours? You know, just listing off those. But yeah, the best part about Blue Sky is it puts out what you put in. It gives you what you put in. So whatever you like, it'll eventually mold itself. The algorithm will eventually mold itself to what you want. So Scott, what is the main discussions that you see when you log into Blue Sky?
Let's see. I'll have to go open it up then.
I can do that. Well, I already have Blue Sky open. The only thing I don't like is that your username is longer than it would be on Twitter. You know, like in Twitter, it would be, X, whatever. It would just be x.com, your name, right? Here, if I go to my profile, it is bsky.app/profile/JonahFalcon.bsky.social. And my username is JonahFalcon.bsky.social, which is a bit long. I hope at some point they are able to allow you to have a nickname that's just, But other than that, so what is on your front page?
Well, I have a post of, remember the Breakfast Club, and at the very end, Jeff Heinholders walking across the football field, and it says, folks be leaving Twitter, and it shows him, punching the air.
Mine, the first one of mine is star clusters are so beautiful, and here's the thing: I often like these, so the algorithm says, "Oh, he likes astronomy stuff." Well, guess what? Here's your astronomy stuff. The one buggy thing is that sometimes it takes a bit to update, and you have to refresh. Oh, there's DJ. Oh, follow back. Oh, you are on Blue Sky.
Yep.
So yeah. Your most recent post is about wanting to return to Silent Hill. Anyways, yeah. So you can find me at Jonah Falcon on Blue Sky.
Oh, are we doing that? You can find me at Johnny Oldman on Blue Sky.
Really, it says Johnny Chugs here.
Oh yeah, Johnny Chugs.
You can find me at Chart the Sage.
So, you just add me and TJ. Okay. And we will get back to you. Like I said, brand new day, and it's just a lot cleaner. I think we learned a lot of lessons a bit too late, but we'll see. Again,
I missed your Roger Wilco post, TJ. That looks good.
Anyways, we'll do this again. We'll see you next week.
Happy gaming, everyone.
Have fun, be cool, play games, y'all.
No, there is no outro. Thank you.